All right, are we live? Is anybody with me? Hey guys, what's up? It's Chad with the Paleo Secret, and I thought I'd get on here with you guys real quick and say hi. Welcome everybody to 2017. I can't believe it's 2017. 2016 was an amazing year. We started a program, the 30-day challenge. We really changed so many people's lives, and it's been so awesome. So I've been getting a lot of emails and requests lately to talk about some ways people can help achieve their New Year's health and fitness goals in the quickest possible way. So I thought I'd get on here and do a Facebook Live and talk to you guys about a little bit more about the paleo diet if you're not familiar with it, and some of the ways it's changed my life, and really it can change your life as well. So I'm going to talk about that real quick. But real quick, before we get started, I'd love to know where you guys are from and kind of make this a fun, interactive Facebook Live. So if you guys could just post in the comment section where you're from and let me know. And maybe also just let me know what your New Year's resolution is and why that's important to you. But one of my New Year's resolutions is to start doing more Facebook Lives and to give more and teach more and inspire more. That's really my mission and why I'm here. So we got Deanna from Georgia. All right, I'm here in Austin, Texas. We live on off of Lake Travis here, and it's oddly very cold today. It's not always this cold this time of year, but it is. It's freezing here today. And we got Patricia from South Carolina and Bear from Philly. Awesome. All right, well, great guys. So, yeah, I want to talk a little bit first about what the paleo diet is. You guys are probably familiar with it, you may be, but the information of what the paleo diet is pretty simple, right? So it's grass-fed meats, it's things like wild-caught fish, pasture-raised eggs, free-range chicken, quality organic vegetables, quality fruit, nuts and seeds, a little bit of starch, and then it's moving away from grains, legumes, and dairy, all the processed and refined foods that we've been raised on in our society, and the sugar, all the additives and sodas and things like that. So really the whole idea of the paleo diet, and I say paleo, but what I really mean is just a way of eating. It's a way of eating where you're trying to maximize nutrition and minimize toxicity. So in a way, it's very much different than how we've typically looked at diet or eating, right? So typically we look at the quantity of calories we eat rather than the quality of calories that we eat. And that's something we always preach in our 30-day challenge, is always look at quality rather than focus on the quantity, and things sort of just take care of themselves. So that's a little bit about what it is. Again, the information of what it is easy, but it's really the implementation of putting everything into practice and staying consistent with those things, and then tweaking a little bit here and there to individualize it to you, because everybody's a little bit different. So let's talk real quick about what you can expect, or five ways that the paleo diet can transform your life in 2017. And I'm not kidding about this when I say transformation, because I've seen it in my own life, I've seen it in my wife's life, and many of my clients and patients. And now that we've created an online program, we've seen thousands of people transform their lives in the past year. And that's really what I really want to hone in today, is that we can't keep doing the same thing that we've been doing around this time of year. Someone just posted, I want to lose weight again, of course. And it's like we just can't keep doing the same things all the time, because the same things are always like, we go to the gym and we get on the treadmill for long periods of cardio, and then we starve ourselves and we count all these calories and points and things, and it just never works because we don't turn this into a lifestyle. And at the end of the day, what we're trying to teach, the principles here, come down to a lifestyle. When you get the lifestyle down, then all your goals, your health and fitness goals, they're a lot easier to accomplish. So let's talk about the ways that the paleo diet can change your life. So one of the things is improved energy. And this has to do with blood sugar, really. When we're eating that standard American diet that's loaded with sugar, we're going to get big spikes in blood sugar and then big dips, right? And that big spike with blood sugar is where we get all, yay, sugar! And then it dips and we're like, oh, it just crashes, right? And this is kind of this cycle. It's like a volatile stock market that just keeps going up and down, up and down, up and down. And when it's down, we go right back to the sugar, right? And it just happens over and over again. But this is problematic because it's these sort of things that lead to fatigue, that lead to adrenal burnout, and then it leads to a whole host of health issues that we really want to avoid. So when you're eating quality, nutrient-dense paleo foods that are low in toxicity, your blood sugar and your energy is much more stable throughout the day. You don't get that big spike of blood sugar. It's because you're moving away from getting your energy from sugar and getting it more from quality, sustainable fat, good quality fats. And when you do that, you get metabolically flexible. You're able to use sugar or fat as a fuel source, and you're just much more stable in terms of your energy throughout the day. So, and that was a big thing. I think a lot of people in our culture, we're just depending on caffeine and 5-hour energies and all these quick fix Red Bulls and energy things, and those are artificial sources of energy, you know, and those are the dependency on those things is what leads to bigger problems down the road. So we want to get that corrected, and you do so with quality, nutrient-dense paleo foods. So the other thing, that's number one, is improve energy. The second way that paleo can change your life in 2017 is improving your digestion. So for many of us, we've been eating foods that are very problematic to our gut, and you've probably heard that your gut health is so important. It's where 80% of your immune system lies. And you know, if your gut health is poor, you're more likely to get sick. You're more likely to get some of these chronic diseases that people are having. But you know, the function of the gut is really to absorb nutrients, to break down your food. It's also where you eliminate those toxins. And many of the foods that we're eating in the standard American diet, they've got foreign proteins that can penetrate through the intestinal lining. So for instance, like grains, they have proteins like gluten and gliadin, and dairy has proteins like whey and casein. All can be problematic. They can penetrate into your gut lining and get into your bloodstream. And when that happens, it can set off a whole world of inflammation, right? So this is why a lot of people have aches and pains in their body, because their body is really, it thinks it's under attack. So it's going all over the place trying to fight off inflammation. But really the root cause of many of these issues is the foods that we're eating that are so problematic. And I would see this all the time in my physical therapy practice. You know, I'd work on a patient who was in pain, say their shoulder pain, their knee pain, and it'd be so hard because we do all these exercises and do all these things, but we wouldn't get anywhere because their diet wouldn't change. And we would see them get away from these problematic foods, and all of a sudden inflammation would go down and everything else all the pain would go away. So it's really important that we move away from those problematic inflammatory foods, heal the gut lining, and seal it. So we start absorbing the foods that we're eating, and we're eliminating toxins that we're supposed to be eliminating, and we're fighting off infections so we can boost our immune system. You know, it really is true what Hippocrates said when he said that all disease begins in the gut. It really does. So if your gut health isn't good, if your digestion's not good, if you're not having bowel movements every day, if your stools are loose, I know that's kind of gross to talk about, but it's really important because that's a good indication that things, if your digestion's not good, it's a good indication that things are going to be problematic down the road. So that's something that's really important to improve your gut system. So the third thing is improve skin. So this has a big part of what led me to eat paleo. Is, you know, I had skin problems for years. So I had acne that I took medication for. I had cuts on my hands. I had cuts on my feet, and no matter what I did, it would not go away. I took topical steroids for all these things, and everything that I took, it would just get worse and worse and worse and worse. And once I started eating paleo, I ate paleo for 30 days, and I got off all medications. My acne was completely gone, and my skin was like glowing again. You know, before, my skin was so bad I could not work on my patients doing manual therapy because of the way my hands were. But when I changed the way I eat and started eating more nutrient-dense foods, everything changed. And it's because the foods that are in the paleo diet that are really nutrient dense are rich in things like vitamin K, vitamin K2, collagen. All these nutrients and vitamins are coming from our food are what's really important for our skin health. And this also comes back to the gut. Many of the symptoms that we're having in our skin is a result of poor gut health. It's like things like eczema and acne. In many cases, it's our body trying to eliminate toxins in a chronic state. So once you fix the gut, once you start eating more nutrient dense foods that are rich in the vitamins that I just mentioned, many of your skin issues just go away. And skin is a very good indication of the quality of your health, just like it is your gut. So it all starts with the food that you eat. And the fourth one I'm going to talk about, the fourth way that paleo can change your life in 2017 is fat loss. And notice I said fat loss and not just weight loss. I'm a big believer that we're too attached to a number on a scale, and we're too attached to numbers in general when it comes to food. We think calories in, calories out is all that matters. And if I go on a diet for 2 weeks and I haven't lost 5 pounds or 10 pounds, then something's wrong. But what we're more concerned with is your body fat level. We want you to actually maintain muscle mass and lose body fat. And some people may only lose 5 pounds when they go paleo. Some people lose 30 pounds. It just depends on the context of where you're coming from. But what's really behind that fat loss is a change in your hormones. So it's really important that we want you to understand that every time you eat, it is a complete hormonal experience. And there's certain hormones that dictate whether you store fat or whether you burn fat. And big hormones that I'm talking about here are hormones like insulin, which is a fat storing hormone, which gets secreted when you start consuming lots of sugar, specifically refined carbohydrates. Those carbohydrates get broken down into simple sugars, sends a signal to the pancreas to start producing insulin so it can clear the bloodstream of sugar. When that happens chronically, over and over, you start storing fat. And that's what's happening to most of us. And the other thing is leptin. Leptin's a message that gets a hormone that sends signal to the brain that says, I've had enough to eat. I'm satiated. I don't need any more. It tells the body you've got plenty of energy in there. You don't need to keep eating. And when you're eating nutrient-dense foods, that message gets sent to the brain very clearly. When you're eating quality proteins and quality vegetables and quality fats, the brain says, wow, I'm getting lots of nutrition here. I've had enough. I don't need to keep eating. But what's happening with our standard American diet is that we're eating foods that are very low in nutrition, and the brain is going, wow, I need to keep eating. I haven't quite found what I'm looking for yet. I'm looking for actual vitamins and minerals, and I haven't found it. So I need to keep eating. So that message with leptin gets totally distorted, and we're not sending the right signals to the brain that tells us to stop eating. Right? And you probably already know this. You can tell, like you can have an Oreo and you eat an Oreo and you're like, wow, it's really good. I want another one, and they'll even tell you this on like Pringles. You can't just have one because the food engineers behind many of the foods that we're eating in our culture, they're very good at what they do, and they engineer these foods in such a way that your brain does not get that message that it's had enough food, so it keeps eating. And they're very good at what they do, and this is behind why we have a health crisis. So to balance your hormones, to lose body fat the right way, it's not just a matter of eating less calories and burning them. It's a matter of eating quality, nutrient-dense foods and sending the right signals to the brain. And when you do that, that's sustainable. That's a change for a lifetime rather than something that you go on or go off. That's a diet, right? That's something that doesn't even sound fun, that no one wants to do, all right? So we want to move away from that. We want to get healthy fat loss rather than just think about weight loss, and not be attached to a number on a scale, and balance our hormones and doing it the right way with real whole nutrient-dense foods and other lifestyle principles like the way you sleep, the way you manage stress, how much sun you're getting, are you walking every day? Simple things like that will get you much further than much of the conventional advice that we've been giving in our society. So There we go. So that's fat loss. That's the fourth way that paleo would change your life in 2017. And the fifth way is improved mood that I want to talk about. And this one hits near and dear to my heart. I suffered from severe depression for about 7 years, and I took medication for it. I went to go see professionals for it, and we could never figure it out. It was like it was all in my head, maybe, I don't know. But when I changed the way that I ate, everything changed. It was like a cloud lifted from my head, and everything about my life has radically changed ever since that moment. And I got off all medications. I'm not saying this is what people will do, but that's the impact it had on me. And I haven't looked back since. And I've become much more powerful in my life. I've just had better relationships. I'm generally more happy, and I'm never going back in terms of the way I eat and the way I take care of myself. And after the fact, I learned a whole lot more about the science behind the paleo diet and why it affected my mood. And so many of my clients and people in our online community are getting improvements in their mood because of the signals that are being sent through these neurotransmitters, things like GABA and epinephrine and norepinephrine and dopamine and serotonin. All these neurotransmitters are produced as a result of the food that we eat. There's no doubt about it. And I was eating foods that were incredibly deficient in important amino acids and quality proteins. I was eating very low protein and very high sugar. And I wasn't getting the amino acids and proteins that I needed to start producing those neurotransmitters that ultimately produce all the brain chemicals that make me happy. So when we do that, I mean, we change everything. And again, there's some people still asking about what paleo is. Again, I'll tell you what it is. Super simple. It's meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, no sugar. And it's moving away from grains, legumes, dairy, processed and refined foods, sugar, and all the problematic foods that, in many cases, this is what we were told to eat as a culture. And this is why we're having the health crisis that we're in. And so, Misty, what is the paleo diet? So it's meat, vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. Just real simple, quality foods. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be all grass-fed. It doesn't have to be all organic, right? It just has to be the best you can and moving away from those problematic foods and being consistent. So, what my wife and I have done, we've created a paleo 30-day transformation program. This is a program where we give you all the tools you need to succeed. So we have a main guide. It's basically a book, and we give you a guide on fats. We tell you what fats to eat, what fats not to eat. We give you a shopping guide. We give you menu plans, meal plans, and recipes. And we check in with you every day, because when we're talking about transformation, it's notice I said 30 days. The thing is, it takes consistency to be successful in anything, and it's the same way with changing your lifestyle. It's being consistent with it, and we know that we have to check in with you every day to maintain your consistency. So another thing, and probably the best thing that we've done to help people get results, is we have a private Facebook community. And there's thousands of people in there that are doing this program, and it's just amazing. We have people. It's a great place to share stories, to ask questions, to talk about your failures. It's just amazing what happens when so many people come together and they're working together to achieve a common goal. And if there's anybody in our private Facebook community here that wants to talk about the results that they've been seeing, it is just amazing. I can't talk about that enough. But we really learned really quickly that information will only get you so far. The what will only get you so far. What will really help you achieve your goals is the community, and that's what we want to provide. So if you're someone who is suffering from arthritis and pain, or you have the things I'm talking about here, fatigue or digestive issues or skin issues or whatever, anything you want to do, the foundation of that is going to be your diet. And one of the questions we always get is what makes our program different than other programs? And it really is the experience, because we go beyond just information, and we put you into action. We give you a full quality experience to help you transform your life. So what I want to do is invite you to our 30-day challenge for 2017. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you're coming from, or what your symptoms are right now. I guarantee you that you can see improvements if you stay consistent and do our program. So you can learn more about it. If you just click a link, I put it up here, or it may be down there, but just click that button and learn more about the program. And I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you soon in our Facebook community, and I hope to see you soon as a success story. And if you have any other questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments section here, and I'll be happy to answer those. But wish you guys the best. Happy New Year's, happy 2017, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.